The Amish are often viewed through a lens of simplicity and traditionalism, where their way of life is marked by a series of unique practices that reflect their deep religious convictions and close-knit community structure. One of the most fascinating aspects of Amish society is the role of women. Their lives are a delicate balance of cultural expectations, religious devotion, and personal responsibilities. From education to family life, the following provides a deeper understanding of the roles Amish women occupy within their community. In the quiet, secluded world of the Amish, where the rhythms of life are dictated by horse-drawn buggies and modesty reigns supreme, even the simplest details of daily living take on deep significance. The way Amish women dress is not merely a matter of personal preference, but an expression of their religious convictions, social status, and cultural identity. The intricacies of their dress code are often misunderstood by those outside the community, yet every garment and accessory is imbued with a sense of purpose that is both profound and unwavering. No formal education beyond 8th grade. In the Amish community, formal education for both men and women is remarkably different from the mainstream American educational system. For Amish boys, the education beyond the 8th grade is practical and focused on skills that will help them sustain their families through agricultural or craftsmanship work. This includes learning to farm, raise animals, and work as apprentices in blacksmithing or carpentry, all of which are essential for Amish life. However, for Amish girls, the story is different. After 8th grade, their formal education ends. The education they receive up to that point focuses on basic literacy and arithmetic, but more importantly, it instills the values of obedience, humility, and community responsibility. For the Amish, this is sufficient. The philosophy behind this education system is that Amish women do not need advanced schooling to fulfill their roles within the community. Their training is practical and centered around homemaking skills such as cooking, cleaning, and childcare. The Amish education system. The Amish believe that education should be focused on practical skills that are necessary for survival in their agrarian lifestyle. This means that after the 8th grade, children are expected to learn skills such as farming, carpentry, homemaking, and craftsmanship. Formal schooling, with its emphasis on academic subjects such as mathematics, history, and science, is viewed as unnecessary and even potentially harmful. Amish parents believe that a strong work ethic and a commitment to family and community are more important than academic achievements. While formal education is limited, Amish children are not deprived of learning opportunities. They receive a rich education in their own cultural and religious practices, which includes the teachings of the Bible, Amish history, and the values that govern their community. This type of education is designed to prepare them for adult life within the Amish world, where their roles will be clearly defined and their purpose will revolve around maintaining family, community, and faith. The role of women in education. Amish women play an important role in the education of their children, even though they may not formally teach subjects like math or science. Mothers are responsible for ensuring that their children are taught the moral and religious lessons that are central to Amish life. They are also the ones who pass down traditional skills, such as cooking, sewing, and farming, that will help their children become self-sufficient adults. In some Amish communities, women take on teaching roles, particularly in one-room schoolhouses, where children from multiple grades are taught together. However, these teaching positions are typically filled by women who have completed their own education up to the 8th grade. Despite their lack of formal education beyond this point, Amish women are respected for their wisdom and the knowledge they pass on to their children. The concept of submission, a complex dynamic. The role of Amish women within the family structure is often framed by the idea of submission. On the surface, this might suggest that Amish women are subjugated or voiceless, but this is a simplification. Submission in Amish society is not about weakness or inferiority. It is about harmony and the functioning of the household. In the public sphere, Amish men assume the leadership roles, such as being the head of the household and the primary decision-maker. When the family travels, for example, it is the husband who drives the horse-drawn buggy, literally holding the reins. This outward display of authority symbolizes the husband's leadership role in the family. However, within the home, Amish women often hold a great deal of influence. While their role is not the same as the husband's, their power is felt in the way they manage the household, raise the children, and ensure that everything runs smoothly. The no makeup, no jewelry rule. In Amish culture, external adornments such as makeup and jewelry are strictly prohibited. These adornments are seen as symbols of vanity, and the Amish believe they encourage a false sense of pride, which goes against their deeply held values of humility and simplicity. To wear makeup or jewelry would suggest that a person values outward appearance over inner spiritual beauty, which is contrary to the teachings of their faith. For many women in the outside world, makeup is a tool for self-expression and confidence. In the Amish community, however, it is considered a worldly indulgence, one that distracts from the core values of modesty and spiritual focus. Amish women wear plain, simple clothing, usually dresses in subdued colors, and their attire is designed to avoid drawing attention to themselves. The lack of adornment emphasizes the importance of large families. In Amish culture, children are considered a blessing and a gift from God. The expectation for Amish women is not simply to have children, but to have many children. Large families are the norm, with some Amish women having as many as 8, 9, or even 10 children. A woman without at least 3 children is often considered to be incomplete in her role within the family and the community. This emphasis on large families stems from the religious belief that procreation is a divine responsibility and should not be hindered by human intervention. Contraception is strictly prohibited in Amish society, and the decision to have children is regarded as one that is ultimately in the hands of God. The idea that the family unit is sacred and that children are to be raised with the values of the community permeates Amish life. No white wedding dresses, a symbol of modesty and faith. One of the most striking aspects of an Amish wedding is the absence of the traditional white wedding dress. In mainstream society, the white dress symbolizes purity, a new beginning, and celebration. However, in Amish culture, the white dress is viewed as a symbol of vanity, something that draws undue attention to the bride and suggests a level of pride that goes against their values of humility. Instead, Amish women wear dresses made from simpler, more modest fabrics in colors such as blue or indigo. These colors are symbolic. Blue represents faithfulness and loyalty, while indigo connects the bride to the spiritual realm. Amish women often make their own wedding dresses, an act that reflects both their creativity and their adherence to the Amish values of simplicity and modesty. The dress, while plain, is a labor of love and devotion, carefully sewn by the bride herself or by female relatives. The role of homemaker. Crafting a meaningful life for Amish women. Homemaking is not a trivial task. It is a vital and respected role. The expectation is that once married, a woman's place is within the home. She is responsible for managing the household, caring for her children, and maintaining the family's well-being. This is a labor-intensive job that involves cooking, cleaning, sewing, and gardening. In addition to these tasks, Amish women often engage in crafts such as weaving, quilting, and basket making, skills passed down through generations. While some Amish women may engage in work outside the home, this is the exception rather than the rule. A woman's place is primarily in the home, where she can contribute to the community in subtle but powerful ways. In some cases, an Amish woman may open a small business, such as a bakery, fabric shop, or a handmade craft business. But even in these cases, her role as a homemaker remains central. Amish women rarely seek the spotlight or public acclaim for their work. Their contributions are often quiet and understated, but no less meaningful. The prayer covering, a symbol of humility and devotion. One of the most instantly recognizable aspects of an Amish woman's attire is the prayer covering she wears on her head. Many outsiders mistakenly refer to this headpiece as a bonnet, but in Amish culture, it serves a much deeper and more spiritual function. The prayer covering is meant to signify a woman's submission to God and her humility before Him. The simple cloth, usually a white or light color, serves as a constant reminder of the Amish woman's commitment to modesty and her rejection of worldly pride. It is important to note that the prayer covering is worn under a bonnet, which is a common practice when Amish women venture outside. The bonnet itself, typically made of dark, plain fabric, acts as an additional layer of modesty and serves to keep the prayer covering secure. Both items are worn with the understanding that vanity and personal pride have no place in the Amish way of life, and this modest, covered appearance helps avoid any temptation of pride that might arise from the visibility of one's hair. The Amish dress code: plain, practical, and purposeful. When it comes to clothing, simplicity is key. Amish women adhere to a strict dress code that requires them to wear long dresses made from dark, muted fabrics. The colors of these garments are typically black, navy blue, or dark green, colors that symbolize their commitment to a life of humility and faith. Bright colors are generally avoided, as they are seen as too attention-grabbing and potentially prideful. The dress itself is designed to be both modest and practical. Straps on the dress must be at least 2 inches wide, ensuring that the garment provides full coverage while maintaining a modest appearance. The dress must also be long enough to cover the knees when seated, further emphasizing the Amish principle of modesty. These seemingly simple rules are all in place to create an appearance that is unassuming and focused on the inner self rather than outward appearance. The distinction between married and unmarried women: a visual indicator of social status. On Sundays, when Amish women attend worship services, their attire changes to reflect their marital status. Married women wear black caps and aprons, along with plain white bonnets. This distinct combination of clothing signals their status within the community and highlights their role as wives and mothers. In contrast, unmarried women wear white caps and aprons, paired with black bonnets, marking them as young women who have not yet entered into the covenant of marriage. The distinction in dress between married and unmarried women is an important visual cue within the Amish community. It helps to reinforce the social structure and provides a sense of clarity regarding a woman's role within the community. Amish society places a strong emphasis on marriage and family, and these symbols of status are a constant reminder of the importance of these institutions. Work clothes. Functionality over fashion. When Amish women leave the confines of their homes and venture out to work, whether it be on the farm or in the garden, their attire changes to accommodate the demands of physical labor. A grey apron becomes the essential garment of choice, serving as a practical piece of clothing that protects the rest of the outfit from dirt and wear. This shift in attire from more formal Sunday clothes to utilitarian workwear highlights the Amish belief in practicality and functionality. The grey apron is not only a protective garment, but also serves as a visual indicator of the woman's role in the household and the community. It reinforces the idea that Amish women are primarily focused on homemaking and raising children, with their attire adapted accordingly for the tasks at hand. The simplicity of the apron, like the rest of Amish dress, reflects the community's commitment to a humble and service-oriented way of life. Buttons, a symbol of rejection of vanity. One of the more surprising elements of Amish women's clothing is their avoidance of buttons. While buttons are common in the outside world and often considered a simple, convenient fastening, Amish women deliberately reject them in favor of more modest fastenings, such as pins, hooks, and eyes. The reasoning behind this rejection is rooted in the belief that buttons, as a form of convenience, might foster a sense of luxury or temptation. For Amish women, buttons represent an unnecessary indulgence that could lead to vanity or even flirtation. Unlike their male counterparts, who are permitted to wear buttons on their clothing, women are expected to avoid such fastenings to prevent any temptation that could arise from the ease with which a button can be undone. This seemingly small detail underscores the Amish commitment to simplicity and modesty in all aspects of life, even down to the smallest elements of their wardrobe. Hair, concealing vanity and pride. Another significant aspect of an Amish woman's dress code is the way she wears her hair. Amish women are expected to keep their hair up and concealed, typically beneath a bonnet or prayer covering. This practice is more than just a practical solution for keeping hair neat and tidy. It is a deliberate attempt to curb vanity and pride. Amish women believe that their hair, if left visible, could become a source of pride, potentially leading to a desire for attention or admiration. By covering their hair, they keep their beauty hidden from view, focusing instead on cultivating inner beauty through humility and devotion. The act of concealing one's hair is a powerful statement of modesty and an affirmation of the Amish commitment to a life that is not focused on outward appearances. It is a reflection of the community's belief that personal pride should be suppressed and that beauty should be found in one's character and actions rather than in physical appearance. Clothing, as a reflection of spiritual beliefs. Every aspect of an Amish woman's attire, whether it's the prayer covering, the dress, or the absence of buttons, serves a higher purpose. For the Amish, clothing is not just about practicality or tradition. It is a spiritual practice that reflects their deepest beliefs about humility, modesty, and submission to God. In their clothing choices, Amish women express their dedication to a life of simplicity, free from the distractions of vanity, pride, and the trappings of modern society. The strict dress code that governs Amish women's attire is a reflection of their desire to remain separate from the world around them, living in a way that is deeply connected to their faith and community. It is a reminder that, for the Amish, every detail of life, no matter how small, carries spiritual significance. Whether they are attending church, working on the farm, or interacting with others in their community, Amish women's clothing serves as a constant reminder of their commitment to a humble and God-centered life. The Amish way of life, a glimpse into a unique culture. The Amish community, a group that lives in isolation from the broader modern world, upholds a lifestyle that emphasizes simplicity, humility, and strong religious convictions. Their way of life, while often misunderstood or misrepresented, is grounded in centuries-old beliefs and practices that prioritize community, family, and faith over the individualism and materialism that dominate much of the modern world. One of the most striking aspects of Amish culture is the roles that women play in their households and communities. These roles are deeply intertwined with the principles of submission, modesty, and maintaining the harmony and sanctity of their homes. While many aspects of Amish life might seem restrictive or outdated to those outside their community, these practices reflect a deliberate choice to live in accordance with biblical teachings, religious tradition, and communal values. Submission, a pillar of Amish family life. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Amish women's lives is the concept of submission within marriage. In a world that increasingly champions equality and individual empowerment, the idea of women submitting to their husbands can be difficult to comprehend. However, in Amish culture, submission is not seen as a form of oppression, but rather as an integral part of maintaining order and harmony within the household and the wider community. It is based on religious doctrine, specifically the teachings of the Bible, which emphasize the husband's role as the head of the household. The dynamics of submission. Submission in Amish society is not a sign of weakness or inferiority. Rather, it reflects the belief that a well-ordered family structure fosters peace and stability. Amish women are expected to defer to their husbands in decision-making, both in public and private matters. This submission extends beyond mere compliance. It is a partnership in which each person plays a distinct role. The husband is seen as the leader, responsible for making major decisions for the family, while the wife supports her husband's decisions, managing the household, and raising the children. The role of submission is symbolized in the Amish practice of traveling in horse-drawn buggies, with the husband typically driving while the wife sits beside him. This physical representation of leadership and submission, with the husband literally in control of the reins, underscores the dynamics of their relationship. In public, the husband's role as leader is clear, and the wife's role as the supportive partner is equally apparent. Yet the dynamics within the home reveal a more nuanced picture. The role of women in community and family. Despite their submission, Amish women are far from powerless. They play a central role in maintaining the household and ensuring that their families are spiritually and emotionally nourished. The home is the heart of Amish life, and it is the woman's responsibility to maintain it as a peaceful, orderly, and welcoming place. Women are skilled homemakers, responsible for cooking, cleaning, sewing, and raising children. They are the backbone of the Amish family unit, providing not only for their family's material needs, but also ensuring that their children are raised with strong moral and religious values. Amish women's influence is perhaps most strongly felt in the nurturing of their children's spiritual lives. It is the mother's role to ensure that the children grow up with a deep understanding of Amish values and beliefs. Women are often the primary caregivers, ensuring that their children are taught not only academic subjects, but also the principles of humility, simplicity, and faith that define Amish life. A uniform for humility. Amish women's clothing is simple, practical, and devoid of adornments. They wear long dresses, aprons, and bonnets that cover their heads, following a dress code that reflects their commitment to modesty and their rejection of worldly vanity. The dresses are typically made from dark-colored fabric, such as black, navy, or dark green, and they are designed to be both functional and modest. Bright colors, patterns, and embroidery are strictly prohibited, as they are considered distractions that could lead to pride or attention-seeking behavior. The goal is to blend in with the community, rather than stand out. The bonnets worn by Amish women are often mistaken for traditional hats, but they are actually prayer coverings. These bonnets serve as symbols of modesty and religious devotion. They are worn both inside the home and outside, and they are meant to remind the woman of her spiritual commitment and humility. The bonnet also serves as a way to keep the woman's hair, which is considered a divine gift, covered and protected from the temptation of vanity. Hair, a sacred symbol. In addition to their clothing, Amish women adhere to strict rules about their hair. They do not cut their hair, as it is considered a sacred symbol of a woman's devotion to God. The Bible, in the Amish interpretation, teaches that a woman's hair is her crowning glory, and it is meant to be kept long and uncut throughout her life. Instead of cutting their hair, Amish women style it in braids or buns and cover it with a bonnet whenever they go outside. Haircuts are seen as a violation of biblical teachings, and women who cut their hair are considered to have strayed from God's will. This is not just a personal choice. It is a religious obligation that reflects a deep commitment to Amish beliefs. Amish women's hair, therefore, is not just a physical attribute. It is a spiritual symbol of their connection to God and their dedication to living a humble, faithful life.